Welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. Another Hollywood breakup, this time actress and singer Halle Bailey and rapper DDG. DDG made the announcement earlier this week. The couple welcomed a son last December. Since the breakup announcement, DDG has made some eyebrow-raising revelations. He appeared on a podcast and said he would tell a younger version of himself to avoid relationships and compared being in a relationship to a part-time job. Is this true? Joining us to talk about it, Dr. Angela Jones. We know it. Everybody knows a relationship is work.
It is work.
What do you think? It was an internship, a free ride,
you know,
a scholarship?
He said some things that I felt was good. But the part-time job part was the wrong, because it's actually more full-time than it is part-time.
Around the damn clock.
Right, and I think what he's trying to say is that he's learning that at this young age, this is probably the age for probably having a little more fun, focusing on your business, focusing on your money, because he realizes he doesn't have the capacity to give to another person. Unfortunately, they did commit to each other and had a baby, and now you have to be together. And from what I hear, he hasn't really said anything bad about her. He's saying, like, there's still love, they're like family, they're friends. But the part-time job part, I think it just really rubbed a lot of people the wrong way.
Now, do you think this is generational or just him saying this? And most young people realize, I got to put in some work.
I think this is something that we've all kind of known, but, you know, teens and young adults don't tend to listen to us old folk, you know. When we tell you, like, you don't need to be thinking about any serious relationships right now. You need to be going to school. You need to be making money. You need to be focusing on yourself and not a woman or another man. And so at the end of the day, to me, this is an example of likely he didn't listen to other people, did what he felt like he wanted to do, and here are the repercussions, you know. And so when it comes to a relationship, part-time job, that's not it. It's full-time. You have to constantly think about, who am I deciding to share my life with all the time? Because you have to carry yourself like you're in a relationship all the time.
Dr. Jones, what would you consider a good, appropriate age to start a solid relationship where you say, this is going to be the person I'm going to be with for the rest of my life, so I'm going to put in those full-time hours?
There's not an actual age. I would say it's all about mentality and maturity. And so we generalize that.
But you're saying enjoy your life, though.
I am telling you to enjoy your life, especially in those younger years. But if you are in that space where where not just you feel like you're emotionally immature, because at 16 I thought I was emotionally mature, but I was not. When you are actually in the space where you can actually commit to someone for the rest of your life, then I'm not going to put an age on it. However, I will say, caution on the young teens, early 20s. I would caution on trying to commit yourself to someone for the rest of your life.
And of course, you and I probably both can relate to this. You know, we've had friends from high school, and then many of them got married right after high school, and many of them are now divorced.
They are.
They're no longer, you know, together because they didn't live their lives, or at least experience young life before jumping into that big commitment that says we're going to be together, you know, life or death, or poor or ugly.
Exactly. And so you have to.
I don't think ugly is one of the words.
Well, hey, ugly. Sometimes they were looking ugly. You never know. But the thing is, you have to realize, like, at 20-something, at a young 20-something, you still are trying to figure out who you are.
Right.
Now you're adding another person into the picture, and you have to figure out who they are. And that means you're taking time away from figuring out who you are to understand who they are. And if you start early and then all these people getting divorced after a while, it's because they've changed. They're not the same person. Life has hit them in different angles, and now they're looking at their partner who they married at 17 or 20 or something like that, and realizing, like, I'm 33, I don't really know who this person is anymore. And that is honestly the unfortunate, the unfortunate part of getting married early.
And it could be some resentment.
Absolutely.
You held me back, I didn't enjoy my life. For people who want to follow you or learn more about you, where can they find you?
You could go on Instagram to Dr. Angela Jones.
All right, Dr. Jones, thank you for joining us. Still ahead.